Welcome to September. Yay! The best part about owning my own company is that I can be as MK as I want to be. Whee! So excuse me while I go 100% MK on you. Accountability is a false construct. As you may have seen in our recent Instagram posts, accountability is a concept designed by diet culture vultures who want to convince you that you're missing something they and only they can sell you, something that carries, more than likely, a heaping dose of shame that they alone can alleviate. Also, if you've been listening to our recent podcast, you may have heard the episode where Coach Sarah talks about her collegiate weight loss attempts that required an elaborate system that was difficult to maintain solo and centered around weekly weigh-ins for that heaping dose of shame. If you have a heart, her description of those weigh-in sessions probably broke it. They sound terrible, especially knowing how many factors can impact weight, including stress, especially stress. That's right, the stress of trying to lose weight, in fact, makes it harder to lose weight. Is more accountability really going to reduce stress? Is more accountability really what you need in order to reach that goal, or any goal for that matter? I'm telling you that I disagree, which means that this whole company disagrees. Yay! You're going to do all kinds of things that you don't want to do just today. You might even do a few while you're watching this video. You are adulting like a boss. You're a terrific, functional human being. You get things done. You adult like nothing we've ever seen. If you fail at anything or feel like a failure at anything, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Only the system that you're opting into. That's where the problem is. I felt like a failure for years because I have ADHD. And if you've seen my short video series on Facebook, they now live on my YouTube channel, by the way, then you know that my success has largely been in part to my preparation to fail. That's right. I go into everything I do knowing there's a possibility that I could fail, and actually a pretty large possibility that I will fail, and I prepare accordingly. Rather than beat myself up for having to do things differently, I spend my energy on setting up tools for success and systems that mitigate my known failure points, and then I relish in getting things done. And that is what I call working smarter instead of harder. Basically, this is what I've done for you with fitness protection. If this is working for you, and by working, I mean you're getting the runs done or the strength done more consistently than ever before, or you feel less shame in what you missed and more pride in what you did than ever before, I'm telling you that has nothing to do with me holding you accountable in ways that you weren't before. I gave you a sustainable system that's easy to opt into and doesn't involve shame of any sort. Led by a woman who once spent more mental energy on making her body smaller and harder to see than on her graduate work at Harvard. Do you really think she's jumping in front of the camera today? Every day, in fact, for months now, with no regard for what angles are most flattering or how this body part looks in this light, because we held her more accountable? And that's not a commentary on the quality of the videos she does. She just throws the camera up and goes. And I bet if you were to ask her, there's never been a point in her life when she could just stand in front of a camera without worrying about how she would look in front of that camera. And she does it every single day. Do you really think that's happening? That lack of concern is due to an increase in accountability on her part? Nope. I've been told in the past that I'm not relatable, that I'm not goals, and that I'm totally unrelatable because there's no part of me that y'all can see reflected in you. Cool. Can you say the same about Coach Sarah? You know I'm right, because everyone watching this today has witnessed her metamorphosis, even if you weren't specifically paying attention to it. Her confidence does not come from the 12 years she spent at Harvard or the family full of Olympians or the totally gorgeous kid who, by the way, is comfortable and secure enough in the safety of the world her parents have created that she tests the boundaries of that world on a regular basis, right? If that every moment that she says, no, mommy, I'm going to do this, that comes from an incredible sense of safety and security. Kids that have been taught not to do that have been shamed or feared into cowering in the corner, They don't do things like that. It's a very different look and feel. That is one safe kid, and that is one amazing parent. Do you really think Coach Sarah even acknowledges that about herself? Betting not. Betting not at all. Her confidence has grown as her accountability to others has shrunk. Because that's the part we don't talk about. Accountability isn't about doing the work. It's about meeting a BS standard. She was trying to meet BS standards all this time. And I bet we all have that in common. How many systems have you opted into? How many systems of accountability involve totally BS standards that you know you may not meet, that you know are unfair when you start playing the game? Whether we're talking about the system that evaluates your progress at work versus a whole bunch of KPIs that may or may not be attainable or realistic at all, or if we're talking about the things you feel like you should be doing because of some mommy blog that looks like they're doing everything right. So keep this in mind if your kid is headed back to school this month, if they're striving to meet BS standards, whether they go to Harvard or struggle around the shame and the medication they need to manage conditions like me and my ADHD. Nothing ruins good kids faster than bad standards. Accountability is never the answer because it fails to address the core issues. It needs shame and fear in order to work. You do not now and have not ever needed more accountability. You lack nothing. In fact, you've always had everything you needed. You are more mentally strong than anyone I've ever met. If you have not succeeded in the past, it wasn't because you were flawed or needed to be fixed. What you needed was a system that was easy to implement, that acknowledges the known failure points of training year-round and all but eliminates shame and stress. It's the same system I've used for years, the one that gave me confidence, the one that pretty much turned me into Coach MK. It's the same system I hope will breed as much confidence in you as it has Coach Sarah. The more complicated the habit, the less likely it is to stick. So if this running thing still feels like you are struggling for it, rest assured, you are not alone. You are not failing or malfunctioning in any way. What we are doing is creating a pattern as simple as possible because predictability breeds those little habits that do lead to success. Knowing ahead of time that Thursday and Sunday are your off days makes planning a breeze. We aren't inventing the wheel each month. We are laying the groundwork for a lifelong habit and habits formed from consistency and ritual. We know this. The main variation from month to month are the hard effort workouts. Do not assign these workouts more importance than they deserve. Strength is key for everyone. It's the single most important thing you can do each day. But you know what? On days you forget, on days that life gets in the way, it's okay. You're good. You're not throwing your money away, and you are by no means behind. Order of importance, do not ever forget strength, silly toes, foam rolling, strides, warm up, cool down, long run, harder effort stuff. PDF's coming soon to remind you of all of that. I know I said it really fast, but I also know that your attention span's limited and I need to move on to the next video. Remember, we don't need perfect, we need done. We need to be okay with the workouts we don't do. Shame adds up and weighs you down, and we don't need more of that. Your fall race, if you were running one, will be about whether you stayed in the game, not about how hard you went on the workouts you did, not about executing everything perfectly. If you're having fun with your family and you miss a run or two, that's okay. That is what family is supposed to be for, and not just in Clark Griswold's world. Why would you miss out on a really great day? Stay with your family and stay here with us. Turn the page each day and hit the reset button at the beginning of each month and do not give up. Thanks for being here.